Alrighty everyone, welcome back. We are now getting closer to the middle point of October as, of course, Disney, such as the board of directors and Bob Iger, are really trying to sort out exactly everything related to the ongoing backlash related to Snow White, the live-action remake, to really creating the marketing campaign for the Marvels, which, by the way, so far, not so good on their end. There's a lot of things going on with Bob Iger's view on the remainder of 2023, leading into 2024, and what that looks like for Disney as a whole on all different business models. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about actress Rachel Zegler is that we know that she is the one that really stirred up a lot of drama behind the scenes over at Disney for Snow White, for making those comments about Andrew Burnap and the prince being a stalker in the 1937 original film. And it doesn't end there, right? There was also a lot of drama on the set of Snow White, a lot of things happening behind the scenes, and the SAG strike, by the way, is not helping at all for Disney, because they really can't properly promote Snow White in the traditional fashion, right? So what's interesting about all of this has a lot to do with one major development revolving around Rachel Zegler, and specifically her overall reaction to getting fired from Disney from multiple projects, including the Pirates of the Caribbean reboot movies, which, by the way, it is set to become a major franchise. As much as I hate to say this, but there is absolutely no way that Johnny Depp is coming back. You know, there's no hope about that. It is not happening. I think that that is just fantasy. If anybody expects him to come back, Johnny does not want to even have any kind of affiliation with the company. Now, moving on forward, what's interesting about all of this has a lot to do with actress Rachel Zegler, and currently in the hot seat is what's really happening with herself in Hollywood. One major development has to do with her challenges with Disney and the projects that she lost and got fired from. As it turns out, one crucial update surrounding this ongoing drama involves Rachel and her team, which includes her agent and manager, that are now set to face Disney in an attempt to reinstate her position as an actress for the Pirates reboot and multiple other projects, and that she is making much progress to finishing her planned statement to share with the world about the unfairness within Disney. Much like the Amber Heard drama with Warner Brothers, this is right up there with Rachel Zegler, where it is also in the process of refusing to take part in the Jimmy Kimmel live show to promote Snow White for Disney as a response after her firing and removal from several Disney projects. So for those of you that don't know much about that, they actually had this plan with Rachel Zegler where she was going to appear on Jimmy Kimmel Live to talk about Snow White, to promote the movie, stuff like that. And as an ultimatum by Zegler and her team is that she is no longer willing to do that show, to go on there and talk about Snow White. And this is to send Disney a message, basically, about what they recently did to her by firing her and removing her from multiple movies out there. And like we talked about earlier, it was going to be both live-action material and animated material that Zegler was supposed to obtain through Disney. Basically, Snow White was like her first, foot in the door over at the company to really get into the more important roles, so to speak, that would pay more. Now, what's interesting about this is how far she's taking things. We know that Zegler and her team, such as her agent, manager, and others, are really going the extra mile to reason with Disney, to enhance their negotiations, and to attempt to reinstate her positions within Disney to actually obtain more of those roles. And look, they're doing this to no avail. It doesn't look like it's going to do anything, but this just goes to show you how crazy Rachel Zegler really is in trying to reinstate her role as an actress within Disney. But it gets worse. We're not done yet. Oh, we're not done yet, so let's continue. Now, and though Rachel is still connected to promote Snow White in various interviews, she is in the process of using her team to reason with Disney to give her freedom of speech to say what she wants to say on camera about her thoughts on Snow White and the original, something that is stirring up drama between Zegler's team and the Disney heads. In addition to this, matters get even more serious, where Zegler is now fully prepared to make a statement to the general public, combating Disney and telling the truth about the unfairness with actors Peter Dinklage and Jennifer Lawrence by her side, to also share their experiences with Disney that they felt were completely wrong as well. So, let me just say one thing about that. Now, we lightly talked about this the other day, but they are going to be involved in multiple statements by Zegler's side, not just one. And it's all going to be about Disney. For those of you that don't know, Peter Dinklage has a very big problem with Disney, because after he actually raised his voice about his disgust with Snow White 2024 in the beginning of hiring dwarfs to play the 7 dwarfs in the live-action remake, he had a lot of issues with that. As it turns out, that overall problem was rooted back to how they denied him a role to become a part of Snow White, and that's why he got very aggressive. But that in turn led to him losing a lot of appearances in the Marvel Cinematic Universe from Disney and Marvel Studios. And he only made one major appearance in Infinity War. He was supposed to be affiliated with many more, and basically after he actually did that, it basically cost him his career with Disney. So that's no longer happening. So this is exactly why you have those like Jennifer Lawrence, Peter Dinklage, working side by side with Rachel Zegler and her team, and their teams also taking part in this. Now, this is attached to show Lawrence was shot down from several Disney projects, as well as Dinklage, after raising his voice about Snow White. Once the SAG strike ends, get this, Zegler is, and of course will begin not just about focusing on one statement, but a series of statements about her thoughts on Disney. It's going to be an entire campaign, so to speak. And this was made aware to Disney by her team, to the point that Disney is already beginning to panic over bad press once the SAG strike ends, either before or after the Snow White film releases in March of next year. Zegler is also reportedly very offended over how she lost her Pirates reboot role, that she got fired from over making statements about Andrew Burnap and the pirate, or should I say the prince, being a stalker, and how that led to her pirate role getting lost. Now, what's interesting about this is the fact that Disney is getting very panicky over this. Will they cave? Will they not cave? That is the question. And I would like to believe that they would stand their ground, because they know how much of a delicate position they are in these days, given that the Disney stock has been hitting an all-time low, a decade low, and it's not looking good for them in the least for 2024. They are also enhancing the Disney Purge. This is going to include thousands of firings of employees within the company, and the removal of Disney Plus content, while at the same exact time raising rates. So it's not looking good for Bob Iger, and it's not looking good for his legacy, which is already tarnished to begin with. The only legacy that Bob Iger has right now is the destruction of multiple franchises. Look at what he did with Star Wars, what he allowed Kathleen Kennedy to do, and also what Iger allowed to really, take force with the Marvel universe, which isn't as good as it used to be at all. So overall, I would like to hear your take on all of this Zegler drama below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, I'm not the one. From night to moon, we hear